State legislative auditor finds the former St. Bernard Parish president and his former chief administrative officer may have broken the law by misspending tens of thousands of dollars in public funds.
Chief investigative reporter Stephen Stock explains the findings come nearly a year after a Fox 8 investigation raised questions about the misuse of taxpayer money in St. Bernard.
Meg John, this 31-page audit confirms what Fox 8 first reported last May and reveals new details about the misspending of more than $80,000 in taxpayer funds.
The audit says former St. Bernard Parish President Guy McGinnis and former CAO Ronald Alonzo received duplicate benefits, driving parish-owned vehicles and using taxpayer money to fill up those vehicles with gas while also receiving a monthly vehicle stipend.
I was angry. I was angry when I found it, and I was angry up until the point I read this report.
Government watchdog Henry Curtis, a citizen in St. Bernard, first discovered these questionable practices and then shared them with Fox 8.
Someone needs to be held accountable, and I think if they hold someone accountable, things will start to change in St. Bernard.
Between January and December of 2023, the audit shows McGinnis received more than $19,000 in monthly vehicle allowances while driving a parish-owned vehicle and spent $3,600 of taxpayer money on gas. According to the report, Alonzo got more than $10,000 in vehicle allowances from July 2022 to June 2023, while also driving a parish-owned vehicle, and spent $1,300 of parish money on gas.
This is unacceptable.
St. Bernard Council member at large Fred Everhart said even though he had heard some of the allegations before this report came out, the depth and scope of what the auditor found surprised even him.
You can't use a public vehicle once you receive that stipend, no matter what it means. And that's the way I read the law.
Auditors say the parish failed to collect more than $47,000 in rental fees for the use of parish-owned facilities between July 2022 and October of 2023, with McGinnis himself authorizing the waiving of fees and discounts totaling more than $38,000.
It's taxpayers' facilities, it's taxpayers' money, it's the taxpayers' vehicles, it's the taxpayers' fuel. No matter if the taxpayer money's paying for it, it's never acceptable.
The audit specifically references Fox 8's reporting last May, which showed John Lane, the parish's coastal director and former CAO, hosting a wedding reception for his son in December of 2023 at the historic courthouse in St. Bernard, without a written contract, putting down a deposit, or initially paying to rent the facility. There's video of Lane mopping up the dance floor at the reception. Our investigation found taxpayers paid for the facility rental, tables, chairs, cleanup, and security, and even picked up the bar tab for 100 guests.
Is it disappointing to you?
It is, it is. Any other employee in parish government would have done the same thing. They would have been terminated.
Only after Fox 8 started asking questions, nearly 4 months after that reception, did Lane actually write a check for almost $4,000 to cover the cost of the courthouse rental. In a statement at the time, he said he regretted his tardiness in settling a financial obligation.
Who's the biggest loser in all this when you read this?
The taxpayer. The taxpayer is suffering the most. The citizens of St. Bernard are suffering the most.
I was mad because they did it during my council's watch. And I didn't find out until after they got out of office.
Although our investigation led to Lane's reimbursement, questions remained about broader practices within parish government and whether other public funds were misused. Current parish president Louis Pomez told Fox 8 other alleged incidents were brought to his attention after we started asking questions, which led him to turn those over to the legislative auditor and resulted in the release of this report. The auditor also found McGinnis used $8,000 of taxpayer money to pay for the publication of a local magazine article highlighting his time as parish president. State law generally prohibits the use of public funds for any advertisement that includes the name of a public official. The auditor also found McGinnis improperly received a gift when a longtime parish vendor gave him a truck at a Christmas party in 2023. The auditor recommends that the State Ethics Commission review the findings and take proper legal action. It also suggests the parish should adopt a detailed written policy prohibiting employees and officials from receiving gifts.
From here on out, I'd like this administration to realize that all eyes are on you now. We're making sure that we uphold our end of the bargain with the residents of St. Bernard Parish, that we're going to be transparent, open, and we're going to watch everything that's going on, and we're going to report everything that's going on.
In a written response, current St. Bernard Parish President Louis Pomez told the auditor, in part, given the number of complaints, the fact that there were only 4 findings fills me with an overall sense of pride in our workforce. Councilmember Everhart's reaction to the audit was much different than pride.
He was proud of the audit. It don't sit right with me, because if you find one thing wrong in this audit, it's not good. We found 4 things wrong with it, and possibly more to come. Because if St. Bernard Parish is like an onion, you peel it, it stinks. And
In his response to the auditor, McGinnis said he believes his use of a parish vehicle for trips actually saved taxpayers money because he drove to out-of-town meetings instead of flying. McGinnis did offer to pay back some of the gasoline and vehicle allowance charges. He said the fees he waived for the use of parish facilities were for events for other government entities or charitable organizations, and that he was merely continuing a practice that had been in place since before he took office. McGinnis claimed he didn't know that money was paid for that magazine article, and he told me on the phone this morning the pickup truck from Principal Engineering, Inc. was classified by the audit report as an improper gift at that 2023 Christmas party, was, quote, in his words, the vehicle was a company vehicle meant for company use when he started working there in January. McGinnis did admit to me on the phone that he did use personal money to upgrade that vehicle, as the audit report states. Alonzo told auditors that he disagreed with the findings. In a statement to Fox 8, he said, quote, it appears that a political agenda influenced the interpretation of the data. I submitted document and additional information and urged a re-examination of the findings. As for Lane, he had no comment, and when they called the DA's office about possible criminal charges, they did not return my call.